D2 Word Life back again here with Riptidz.
No. It's more like D2 Crybaby Cody Rhodes fanboy here.
Oh, whatever. You were actually cheering how the main event freaking went down, but if that would have happened a year ago, you would have been like bullshit, but we'll get to it when we get to that. At the end of this review, but fuck me. WrestleMania 41 Night 2 is what we're reviewing. And it took place on April 20th, 4/20, 2025. The day after Night 1's event, obviously.
Yep.
And obviously the location stayed the same in Las Vegas, or Paradise, Nevada, whatever you want to call it.
It was Vegas.
At the Allegiant Stadium. I can actually pronounce it correctly this time, unlike yesterday's review. Where Mr. Asshole over here had to freaking goddamn correct me. Just because I was having a brain stumble like you sometimes.
Yeah, but yours is more accurate than mine.
Yeah. And the attendance that was announced was 63,226, with both nights combined, attendance being 124,693. Take that with a grain of salt, but either way, regardless,
164,000 Cody Rhodes Crybaby fans.
Take that with a grain of salt, no matter what the real number is.
With everyone there.
But yeah, no matter what the real number is for both nights, it was still a crap ton of people, right?
That's with every attendance there that was with all the fans there. That was exactly how many people were there.
Over 100,000. But I know how freaking WWE likes to inflate their numbers, but regardless, whatever the real number is or whatever, that's still a crap ton of people combined for both nights and in the stadium on each individual night.
Yep.
I mean, that visual alone just is mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yep.
And, of course, the commentators for this event remained the same, which was Pat McAfee, Wade Barrett, and your boy, Michael Cole.
No, your boy, Michael Cole. And Wade Barrett broke his WrestleMania cherry.
Yeah, on the commentary table. Obviously, Wade Barrett performed at WrestleMania before in the past, but this was his first.
Yes, I like the fact that he's like, I lost my WrestleMania virginity.
And I was thinking, bullshit, you competed at WrestleMania as a competitor, but if you wanted to go more specifically, you could have said I lost my commentary virginity. Exactly. At WrestleMania, I'm like, okay, that fits, because that's exactly what happened here. Right? And of course, the ring announcer remained the same, which was Alicia Taylor. And we started off the show proper with Ava Max singing the national anthem to start the show.
I don't understand why they sang America the Beautiful again.
Because it was the opener for WrestleMania.
That's their thing.
Because it was an opener for WrestleMania for the second night, and they usually do God Bless America or America the Beautiful at the start of each WrestleMania, regardless what night it falls on. Whether it's the first night or the second night, sign of respect to the country. Plus, people in the United States actually like hearing that. At a WrestleMania like a big event, so you can't fault them for that.
Yeah, if we get hate comments, we get hate comments. I just say I don't understand why, but that's fine. I'm not bashing.
Oh yeah, and before we even got to any of the matches proper, Stephanie McMahon began WrestleMania Night 2, hyping the crowd up for the show. 16
at WrestleMania 9, and her middle daughter is 16 now.
Ugh. And yeah, I mean, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this during the Night 1 freaking review that we did. Triple H was the one who kicked off hyping the crowd for WrestleMania Night 1.
You did?
Well, I don't remember. I was freaking tired as fuck. I don't remember half the shit I said during the and there was no way I was going to go back today and rewatch that and be like, did I mention this or did I mention that? So yeah, if my commentary felt like it drug on and it felt like I didn't really give a shit. It was because I was fucking tired during the night one review. I should have just saved that for yesterday morning at time of recording, when I was more energized like I am now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you listen to that review and it felt like I was dragging on, it's because I was. I promise to do better with this one, right?
Yep. We'll see.
So yeah, the first match of WrestleMania 41 Night 2, 420 Mania, was a match that we all anticipated wanting to see because we've seen how the storyline unfolded on Raw in the last month, and that was the women's world title match between the champion Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley in that triple threat match. Now, of course, the story was Bianca Belair won the number one contendership in that Elimination Chamber match, setting up what we thought at the time was going to be a one-on-one between Belair and the champion Rhea Ripley, only for Rhea Ripley to lose that title to Io Sky the following night on Raw. As we know, and then it just became a convoluted story. Rhea Ripley signing the contract, putting her into this WrestleMania match to begin with, and then they followed that up with a match between Sky and Ripley on Raw with Belair as the referee, which that ended in a double DQ or a screwy finish.
Yeah.
And then they just announced it as a triple threat match anyway. I'm like, we already freaking knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, you and I were both bitching about that during the whole storyline build over the last month. It's like, yeah. So yeah, all three women made their entrances. Obviously, Rhea Ripley got the biggest pop of the night. And before we go and talk about some high spots, is there anything out of this one that stood out to you specifically?
I want her outfit.
Yeah.
That fucking outfit was amazing.
And there was no doubt everyone in this match, everyone in attendance wanted to see Rhea Ripley win, even though Io Sky got a good amount of cheers too from the crowd, but everyone was booing Bianca Belair. Did you notice that too?
Yes.
And I'm just like, damn. And it's not like Bianca Belair was a heel going into this. She didn't do anything against the crowd. All three of them were faces. I just felt like the crowd actually liked freaking Io Sky and Rhea Ripley more than Belair here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, a big spot I remember was Sky performing the blockbuster on Ripley and Belair at the same time, but they both kicked out. That she tried to stack them like Reigns did at Mania 37 to Bryan and Edge, but both of them kicked out of that one. That was a nice callback spot to how that main event ended. But it just didn't work for Io Sky like it did for Roman Reigns at the time. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, then later on, freaking Belair actually performed 3 suplexes onto Sky. He attributed to Eddie Guerrero, but freaking Ripley pulled Belair out of the ring. Before she can make the pin, and Belair then slammed Sky into the barricade with Ripley as well. They were both holding her at the same time.
Yeah. Of course, Bianca had to come out with her stepdaughter.
Yep. And of course, during a little bit later in the match, Ripley, I thought this was a good spot, good little tribute spot. Ripley performed the Razor's Edge onto Sky, into Belair, and pinned Sky for a 2 count. A little throwback to the late Scott Hall there, right?
It's not the only time we'll be seeing it.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then a little later on, Belair did perform that 450 splash on the Io Sky as well, but Rhea broke up the pin and performed the U on Belair for a pinfall, aka the Riptide. I have to say it, right?
Yeah.
You know, every time we see Rhea Ripley do her finisher, and we know, and I know we're gonna be reviewing it. You know, I have to freaking say it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Rhea Ripley was dominating here for the most part. Right. And of course, And of course, afterwards, freaking Rhea Ripley attempted an avalanche view off the top rope onto Io Sky, but Io Sky countered it into a moonsault.
Just because my Xbox gamer tag is fucking Riptide does not fucking mean I stole her goddamn finisher. She took it from me.
Oh, I have to say the joke every time.
I took it from a video game.
Whatever. Of course, Belair then performed the KOD on the freaking Io Sky, but Ripley broke up the pin when the referee was like 1, 2. Oh, nope, pin broken up. That was a close call. Right?
Yeah. The whole match was close call after close call after close call.
Yep.
There was really no advantage between one or the other.
And Belair tried to do the KOD on Ripley near the end, but Ripley reversed it. Tried to go for the Riptide again, but Belair also reversed it. So yeah, finishers were countered.
Yeah, Io got fucking face planted into the fucking mat.
Yes. Oh yeah, that spot looked nasty. All right.
Yeah, because fucking Rhea
I think they were doing the suplex spot when that happened.
Was gonna do the fucking superplex, and then fucking Bianca gets up, fucking does basically the Tower of Doom on there.
From the top rope.
Io just fucking rotates twice in the air and then fucking gets knocked the fuck out.
Just smashes face first onto the mat. I'm like, that looked nasty, right?
Would you say that the mat curb stomped her?
If you want to put it like that, I guess so.
And then bounced her off.
Oh yeah, but we gotta talk about the finisher now. I mean, we can go back and forth about this triple threat match, but we got more matches to talk about. It's like the ending started when Belair freaking whipped Ripley with her braid, followed by the kiss of death. But right when freaking Belair was going for the pin on Rhea Ripley, Sky came out of nowhere, performed the moonsault on both Belair and Ripley, and she pinned Belair to retain the championship.
Yep.
Which
of
means,
course, Bianca has to resort to fucking hitting people with her goddamn hair again.
But they still made freaking Rhea Ripley look strong by kicking ass and not taking the pinfall. I mean, Sky pinned Belair to retain the championship here. Rhea Ripley wasn't even in the final pinfall decision.
Yeah.
So, your thoughts about this one?
It was interesting. I was rooting for fucking Rhea to get her title back, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be more interesting this way, and Rhea will get another chance.
I feel if WWE goes this direction, I feel like the only reasonable outcome of this will be a feud for the world title between Io Sky now and Rhea Ripley 1-on-1, considering Rhea Ripley was not pinned to lose that triple threat.
Yeah.
Which means Rhea Ripley has a legitimate freaking claim for a rematch. Saying technically she wasn't defeated at Mania. In that triple threat, Belair got pinned instead.
Yep.
But overall, I thought the match was a good way to kick off night 2. So we go to the next match on the card, which was the Sin City Street Fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. What the hell was Drew McIntyre wearing during his entrance?
I have fucking no clue.
I'm pretty sure that could have been a video game reference or something. I've been hearing that, but I know somebody will be. I know somebody will probably correct me in the dang comments or tell in the comments. I really had no idea. But Drew McIntyre looked freaking awesome wearing that armor gear, whatever he was wearing out to the ring. Right.
Probably the Clash of Clans. Or it could be the Fatal Fury.
Could be.
Most likely probably Clash of Clans, because WWE is now part of the Clash of Clans.
Yeah, more likely. And of course, the match started off with both of them just beating the heck out of each other until freaking they got out to the ring where McIntyre repeatedly battered Priest with the steel steps, wearing him down. And here's the funniest part of the match. Priest was down. I guess Drew McIntyre's real life brother was there in the audience, so he took his brother's phone, took a selfie with it with McIntyre down, and then handed the phone back to his brother there in the crowd. Which that photo was been put, and then that photo was put on Drew McIntyre's official X account with the caption saying "Still bored at work, lol." Which that image went viral. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus. Sounds like something a certain other controversial figure would do. If I'm being honest. Yep. We'll get to that match. We'll get to his match later. And of course, at one point, McIntyre actually nailed the Claymore kick on Priest, but that only resulted in a 2 count, right?
Yep.
And of course, later on, we thought we seen the more evil side of McIntyre, obviously, when he took a steel chair and wrapped it around Priest's neck.
And tried to hit the Claymore.
And if he would have connected with the Claymore, this match would have been donezo, but no, Priest reversed the Claymore kick attempt and performed a choke slam for a 2 count as well. So I'm like, okay. Yep. At least we didn't see freaking Priest's neck get snapped. Right?
Yep.
And of course, at this point, freaking Priest removed the protective pads from the turnbuckle and set a chair there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but then McIntyre fought back against Priest with a spine buster. Then McIntyre then set up a table and attempted the white noise on the Priest, who reversed it into a razor's edge on the McIntyre through the table for another 2 count. 2 counts galore here, am I right? I mean, at this point, this match could have gone either way, honestly. Wouldn't you agree? Both men were just beating the heck out of each other. And of course, Priest, this is where the match kind of took a turn. Near the end, when Priest attempted the old school on a McIntyre, now there's only one superstar who could perform that move.
Yeah.
You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Which that didn't work too good for McIntyre, did it?
Nope.
And why would that be?
Because McIntyre got cocky.
McIntyre didn't get cocky. Priest was going for the old school. And what happened to Damian Priest when McIntyre reversed it?
Damian got real fucking cocky because he's like, oh, I'm going to use old school. Yeah, there is no one that can use the old school like The Undertaker. He fucking got pulled into a fucking table.
Yeah, he got pushed off the top rope through 2 tables that were on the outside of the ring.
Yes.
Which is amazing when you really think about it, because earlier in the match, it was Drew McIntyre who set up those 2 tables. And you know what's funny? WWE lore says, he who sets up the table shall be the one put through him. I was totally expecting freaking McIntyre to eat the tables outside.
Yeah.
But no, it was Priest who ate the tables outside the ring. Right?
Yep. I gotta go check what my dogs are barking at because they're being fucking nuisances.
Yep, and then after that McIntyre Priest actually tried to get back in the ring, but McIntyre freaking set his head near that steel chair in the corner. And McIntyre performed the Claymore kick on the Priest through the steel chair, which totally knocked freaking Priest out. And of course, McIntyre pinned Priest after that to win this match.
I'm back.
So yeah, I was just talking about how the match ending happened with McIntyre performing the Claymore kick on the Priest through the steel chair that was in the corner of the ring. Or the ring corner.
Yeah, it would cause Damian Priest to have to be medically taken out of there because he couldn't breathe.
But yeah, McIntyre won the match following that Claymore kick through the steel chair in the corner. So yeah, your thoughts
After
on...
being fucking laser edged into the fucking table.
Yes. So yeah, your thoughts on this Sin City street fight?
It was fucking brutal and personal.
Yes. I
This
thought
is beyond fucking brutal. I'm like, holy shit.
Yes. And I thought the ending was a little creative with McIntyre reversing the old school, pushing freaking Damian Priest through the two tables, along with that Claymore into the steel chair in the corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, did McIntyre deserve that win? I think he deserved that win. Maybe they're going to build McIntyre here as a credible threat. Maybe put him in the WWE Championship picture again at some point, or maybe even the Intercontinental title or U.S. title picture at some point with this win, or just another major feud. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, up to this point, this was the best match of the night, the most hard-hitting match of the night, I should say. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, from there we go on to arguably your favorite match of the night. And it was the fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental Championship between the champion Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and your boy Trash Can Dominic Mysterio.
No, it's your boy, the trash can Dominic Mysterio.
And this one was a little interesting because the backstory for this is that Finn Balor wanted the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio wanted Penta to be the new member of the Judgment Day, and it just was all convoluted here. Penta said, nope, not joining the Judgment Day. Mysterio and Finn Balor got added.
It was not supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be a four-way. It was supposed to be a triple threat, but Liv Morgan butted her nose into it. Put it as a triple threat by adding the trash can Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, so either way, now we got two members of the Judgment Day, and this could possibly be the start to the end of the Judgment Day. Right?
Yes. We'll have to see tonight.
Years. Yeah, when Raw airs. See how Finn Balor is going to respond to this. Right?
Yep.
But we'll talk about that after the match up here. This match was wild from the dang start after all four men made their entrances. All right. You even had the trash can come out with the lid on.
Yep.
AKA the mask. That's what you like to call it, the lid. Right?
Yep.
But yeah, Braun Breaker dominated early by pretty much performing a military power slam onto Balor and a spear on Mysterio. Only for Balor to break up the pinfall attempt. Right?
Yep.
And another big spot on this one was Penta hitting the freaking Penta driver on Balor, only for Breaker to break up the pinfall. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, it seemed like it was just Dominic and Finn Balor trying to team up against Penta and Braun Breaker to weaken them down until freaking goddamn Balor freaking got double crossed, even though it's every man for himself, by Mysterio when Mysterio tried to perform a 619 on him, but that didn't quite work out for him, did it?
Nope.
Because Finn Balor caught him, they started going at it. Carlito was out there too. And also at one point, Penta actually performed the Mexican Destroyer on Mysterio, but Carlito pulled Penta out of the ring. Right?
He got fucking super speared for it.
But yeah, Breaker made sure to give Carlito his comeuppance by super spearing Carlito through the announce table on the outside. All right, taking him out of the match so the interference wouldn't happen again. But, this is when the match kind of nearly ended because back in the ring, Braun Breaker was down. Freaking Balor actually nailed the coup de grace onto Breaker, but right when Balor was going for the pin, Mysterio came back and performed a frog splash on both Balor and Breaker, and he pinned Balor to win the match and the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, you heard that right. The Trash Can is the Intercontinental Champion.
Yep. I don't know how an inanimate object became a champion, but okay.
I remember after the match happened, you even messaged me that, or called and asked that. How does an inanimate object become a champion? He's a garbage can.
Exactly.
Ugh. So I'm just like, wow, okay. Now because of Mysterio or the Trash Can pinning freaking Balor, I feel like this could be the end of the Judgment Day. Or if anything, if the Judgment Day continues, and it'll just be Balor freaking leaving the group and becoming a full-on face, while the Judgment Day is reduced down to just freaking Mysterio, Carlito, and Rodriguez and Morgan. That's it.
The Trash Cans?
Yes. The trash can and the apple that goes into the trash can.
Yes.
If you want to take an analogy of it, right?
Yep.
But anyway, your thoughts on this 4-way match that Dominic or the trash can won here?
I still don't understand how a fucking trash can won the title, but okay.
I mean, it did have some storytelling with the dissension between Mysterio and Balor, though. Even though it was an every man for himself, you knew that alliance was going to
last.
Yeah. By the way, I guess we're just going to have to see what happens in the coming weeks between now and Backlash here in like 3 weeks. Maybe we'll set up a Intercontinental title match between Balor and Mysterio at Backlash, or maybe Braun Breaker will get his rematch at Backlash, which Mysterio may retain under some dubious circumstances like, outside interference or whatever, and then they'll do the whole feud between Balor and Mysterio. Who knows? Right?
Yeah.
That's just pure speculation. We don't know what's going to happen, right? Yet.
Yep.
So, yeah, we go on to the next matchup here, which was Randy Orton's Open Challenge, considering this was Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania. He missed a couple of WrestleManias due to injury throughout his career. But this was Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania appearance, and originally Orton was supposed to face off against Kevin Owens, which the match was canceled because Kevin Owens has a legit neck injury that he had to have neck surgery for, and I don't care, man. Despite face or heel alignments, I do not like to see or hear about these top stars, wrestlers getting injured, but it happens. And I hope he has a speedy recovery, and I hope freaking he's able to come back, especially from a career-ending injury like a neck injury.
Yeah.
In general, so I can fully understand why this match was canceled because of that. Right?
Yeah, but everyone was expecting Nick Aldis to show up as a fucking opponent or Rusev.
I mean, the build to the Nick Aldis match seemed more legit because Nick Aldis did get an RKO from Orton when Nick Aldis told me he didn't have a match at Mania, and then Orton out of nowhere came out and said that I'm issuing an open challenge to anyone in the locker room to face me at WrestleMania. Thus, having this open challenge match, Orton came out to the ring, got on the microphone and said, yeah, anyone come and step up right now. Now's the time to do it, right?
And be defeated by the three most devastating words in WWE RKO.
RKO, yeah. And who was the one to answer the challenge? Was it Nick Aldis? Or was it freaking Rusev? Or hell, you could have gone. Oh, or you could go as far. You could have gone as far and said that Aleister Black could have been challenging freaking Orton here, but no, it was none of those names.
Nope.
What we got was TNA champion Joe Henry coming out to accept the challenge. And yeah, this was a big deal because if you would have told me 10 years ago, hell, even 20 years ago, that, hey, you know, someday at WrestleMania, the TNA World Champion is going to be competing at WrestleMania against a high caliber superstar like Randy Orton, I would have just said, no, you're a friggin' liar. That ain't never going to happen. And I know WWE and TNA has a working relationship now, so that's why it happened, but still, it's history in the making. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And let's face it, I mean, that's as far as the positivity that I can say about this match, because this match, they didn't really have any good chemistry back and forth. Joe Henry was just posing for the most part after he countering an RKO and then trying to bring the fight to Orton, but for the most part, it really wasn't a match.
Yeah.
Joe Henry, for the most part, was just sitting there smiling, waving to the crowd, not even going on the offense. But it was kind of funny seeing the end of the match where after Joe Henry countered another RKO attempt or another move from Orton, got him down somehow. I don't remember exactly because it was that short. They did a close-up of Joe Henry smiling into the camera, and then friggin' Orton came out of nowhere and hit an RKO to win the match.
Well, also, just to mention, 164,000 people had schizophrenia. They all sang, I hear voices in your head.
God damn it. And of course, after the short match was over, freaking
because it was viewed nationwide. It was viewed all around the world. So everyone had schizophrenia because they all heard voices in their head when his thing came on.
Yeah, but anyway, after the match, freaking Orton looked like he was gonna freaking like celebrate with Joe Henry here. Actually, you know, raising a hand, doing all that stuff, acting pretty much like hey, I beat you, but you're a good wrestler. You'll come back from this, you know what I'm saying? But you don't trust a snake. Because what did Orton do after the little tease of, yeah, I'll celebrate. You can celebrate with me. I RKO you again.
Exactly.
So I'm like, wow, WWE just buried TNA's top champion at WrestleMania. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, anyway, I wasn't really impressed with this one. To me, this was the weakest match on the card, but it could have been a lot better had this been the Orton-Kevin Owens match, but for understandable reasons, I know why that didn't happen. Right?
Yep.
Oh, God, do I really got to talk about this next one?
It's your favorite match of the night with your favorite superstar and creator of Prime.
The next match.
Your favorite freak.
The next match we're about to talk about is the phenomenal AJ Styles versus your goddamn boy Logan Paul.
No, it's your goddamn boy named Logan Paul. You love Prime so fucking much.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. You're the one who freaking loves Prime, not me. Actually, no, you love throwing Prime in my face on 2K. Yeah, you love throwing them Prime bottles in my face from playing 2K, don't you?
So I was throwing shit at you.
And we all know how much you love Logan Paul, especially you love that freaking Jake Paul fight from last November.
Go fuck yourself.
No, in all seriousness, Logan Paul is a freaking piece of shit. I think everyone freaking knows that by now. I'm stating what is already known, so the obvious. Right?
Yep.
But do we really have to talk about this matchup? Yeah, we have to. It says in our contract that we have to. I mean, why couldn't they just do an injury angle where Styles got taken out and Logan Paul needed a mystery opponent and Brock Lesnar came out to destroy him? Now, that would have been more entertaining to see.
Yep.
Hell, I bet you would have given that one easily 10 out of 5 if that was the case. Right?
Yep.
But no. That's not what we. That's not what we got here. We actually got a decent match with Styles and Paul, but I don't like giving Logan Paul credit for anything. But we gotta talk about this match. Near the beginning of the match, Paul actually did perform a Paul from Grace on Styles for a 2 count. Right? And of course, Paul then performed the overbomb on Styles, which Styles reached the ropes to break the pinfall, so it was a rope break. And, at one point, another highlight was Styles performing the phenomenal forearm, but Paul countered into a rolling senton and a lion salt on the Styles for a 2 count. Sounds like moves Jericho or Jeff Hardy would have done, right?
Yep.
Of course, I did like during the match how freaking when Logan Paul was going to baseball dropkick Styles on the outside of the ring, Styles just pulled up the ring apron and just pounded freaking Paul who was underneath the rings, or a Finley move, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that was entertaining to see, but then at some point, Logan Paul did the same damn thing to Styles, right?
Yep.
And I really had, but Styles at this point was attempting to perform a 450 splash near the end, but Paul got his knees up and performed a Styles class onto Styles, only for Styles to not even give Logan Paul a 1 count after that. And he performed one himself on Logan Paul. Now, normally, freaking Styles would go for the pin here, but Styles at this point was so fatigued and beaten down he couldn't even go for the pin. Right?
Yep.
And then that's when freaking Logan Paul's buddy appeared like near the freaking ring apron. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Because his name was actually Jeff. He appeared with brass knuckles, but Karrion Kross then came out and took the brass knuckles away. And then Styles then sent Jeff into the barricade, and then freaking Karrion Kross is trying to offer freaking brass knuckles to AJ Styles to knock out Logan Paul. Something that even though it would be an underhanded freaking heel tactic, I don't think you and I would really disagree with AJ Styles doing that at this point, because how many times has Logan Paul done that? Too many to count, am I right?
Yep.
But instead, freaking Styles went the noble freaking face route, threw the brass knuckles off, and then punched Karrion Kross in the face. Right?
Yep.
And then Styles then attempted another phenomenal forearm, but Paul ducked and performed that lucky punch plus the Pulmanizer on the Styles to win the match. I hate fucking talking about a Logan Paul match where he wins, but that's what we got here at Mania. Your thoughts on this one?
The match was good, but the ending was shit because of a shit dude.
Honestly, I think this will freaking just intensify the rivalry between Karrion Kross and AJ Styles going forward. Honestly, with this. Maybe AJ Styles should have just turned heel and knocked freaking Logan Paul's lights out. Or something. That's what I would have liked to have seen. Am I right?
Yep.
So yeah, match was decent. I just don't agree with the ending because Logan Paul still somehow found a way to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Even though we desperately want to see him get his ass kicked. So yeah, we go. There was no Hall of Fame mention or anything because that was all from night 1. They didn't mention it here on night 2. By the way, for those wondering, right?
Yep.
So we go on to the semi-main for the night, which I guess you can call the penultimate match, whatever. It was a match that happened before the main event here, which was for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Where it was the Women's Tag Team Champions, the Trash Women from the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, And they were...
And what the fuck was Liv dressed very provocatively?
Yeah. But either way, their opponents ended up being the Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria and a mystery partner because freaking, as we all know from WrestleMania Night 1, Bayley got attacked backstage and was taken out of the match, which meant that Lyra Valkyria only had 24 hours to find a tag team partner for this match, or for the match total altogether.
Yep.
And as for her mystery tag team partner, I did not expect this whatsoever because about a month prior she announced her dang retirement from the ring indefinitely.
Uh-huh.
And Lyra Valkyria's tag team partner turned out to be the man, Becky Lynch. Which
both countrymen.
I did not expect that at all, honestly. Right? Everyone cheered for that one because they didn't expect Becky Lynch to return. Especially after all of her retirement teases she was posting about. Right?
Yep.
And this would be Becky Lynch's first match back since last June when she lost to Liv Morgan in that steel cage match. Before leaving for the last, 10 months? Nearly a year?
Yeah.
And hell, this was Becky Lynch's first freaking pay-per-view match since I believe it was, what was it, Crown Jewel? Or not Crown Jewel, it was a Saudi Arabia event, I know that. King of the Ring? King and Queen of the Ring? Because I know we reviewed that match with Morgan and Lynch when Morgan won the Women's World title that night.
Yes.
Thanks to Dominic's interference before Dominic and Morgan were actually an on-screen couple. Right?
Yeah, it was the King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
It was when Rhea was out for surgery.
Yep.
Orbital surgery.
Yeah. But yeah, Valkyria started off the match, but freaking Morgan and Raquel pretty much were in control until freaking Valkyria tagged in Lynch, who was trying to get revenge on Morgan by applying the disarmor on freaking Morgan, but Raquel Rodriguez broke up the submission hold. Right?
Yep.
And of course, that didn't really stop Lynch, because on the outside, Lynch sent Rodriguez out of the ring, and then Morgan then performed the Oblivion onto Lynch, but Valkyria broke up the pinfall there. And I'm just like, I don't think they're going to have freaking Lynch lose her first match back. And at this point, I'm thinking if Valkyria and Lynch don't get the titles, it would probably be due to a DQ or a countout, which Liv Morgan was going for at one point when I think freaking Rodriguez got the pin on one of them, or tried to get a pin on one of them, but the referee counted 2. And Liv Morgan had the championships in her hand. Why didn't you just take one and smack her opponent and get disqualified with it? To keep the belts, I don't know. But either way, the match continued after that. And at one point near the end, freaking Valkyria actually performed the Tornado DDT on Rodriguez on the outside of the ring. Right? Taking Rodriguez out of the match. And while this was going on, freaking back in the ring, Becky Lynch performed the manhandle slam onto Liv Morgan for the 3 count and win the champion. And so therefore, the new Women's Tag Team Champions here were Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, making Valkyria double champion in the process.
Yep.
So yeah, your thoughts on this one?
It was interesting.
I remember WrestleMania 35 in the main event. At the end, we had Becky 2 belts. Now we have Valkyria 2 belts.
Yep.
The Michael Cole on commentary even made reference to that too. So yeah, it's like it was a good tag match, but it was mostly for the pop for Lynch's return here. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the match itself kind of felt average at best, in my opinion. Maybe gets a little bit above average rating because of the whole Becky Lynch returning that I didn't even see coming. But apparently you did. What made you think that was going to happen?
I just had a feeling.
Yep. And then following the women's tag team championship match, we need to talk about this one. The WrestleMania Night 2's attendance number and the number combined was announced by Stone Cold Steve Austin, who made a special appearance. But before he even got into the ring, let's talk about what happened there when he was trying to drive that quad around.
He was already drunk.
Yeah, it took him a while just to even drive to the entranceway, and then when he was making his way around the ring, he literally crashed into the barricade.
Oh, I think it could have been just a thing that they were doing.
I mean, you do realize doing a spot like that, the fan you're in the front row near that barricade where he crashed into could have gotten hurt at some point. And I know the security was freaking concerned about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, Austin got in the ring. Austin got back into the ring. Read off the card that had the night's freaking attendance on there, and he goes, it just doesn't seem right to me. I need a recount. And then he was like, hold still. 1, 2, 3, 4. He got to about 10. He goes, screw it.
13.
Or 13. He was like, screw it. Because it's going to take forever. Right?
Yes.
And then that's when he announced the combined over 124,000 combined for both nights 1 and 2. Before he left, he didn't even ride the quad back out. He just walked up the ramp on his own accord. Probably because it feels like you ain't riding this quad off anymore. Right?
Yeah. Probably.
So now we get to talk about this main event. Holy fucking shit. Right?
Yep.
Oh boy, the main event that had so many people freaking divided, it's unreal. And I'm talking about Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against a freshly healed John Cena. And as we know, John Cena won the Elimination Chamber to become the number 1 contender for the WWE Championship. And then afterwards, the biggest freaking heel turn in modern wrestling history took place. When, after the match, Cody Rhodes said to The Rock, go fuck yourself, I ain't selling my soul out to you. And then John Cena then proceeded to low blow Cody Rhodes and beat the crap out of him, leaving him in that bloody freaking state at the end of the show.
Yes.
Which we reviewed in depth and what we thought about it, right? And the fact is, that was the biggest heel turn in modern history, a heel turn no one ever saw coming here.
Yeah.
And then in the weeks preceding it, and the weeks following, actually, no, what I meant to say is the weeks following freaking Elimination Chamber, we seen John Cena come out and cut all these promos and everything else. And yeah, the fans were just giving Cena nuclear heat, as we know from watching those. Right? Hell, some of those freaking promos we actually were reacting to live during our live streams on Twitch. Right?
Yep.
And boy, what did you think of some of those Cena promos pretty much saying that, oh, the fans made me do this, you get nothing. You made me into a stupid, invisible joke, and it's friggin' childish and stupid. Right?
Yeah.
And everything else like that. And then Cody Rhodes came out, pretty much said if this version of Cena shows up at Mania, Cody Rhodes will destroy it. When Cena said, when I win that title, wrestling is dead. I'm taking that championship home and never returning it ever again. All right?
He's the forever champion.
we never really got an explanation of why John Cena freaking turned. We never got an explanation of why John Cena sold his soul to The Rock, because The Rock never made an appearance anymore after the Elimination Chamber and the build to this. Right? And maybe that really goes with the whole John Cena heel stick of him saying, "You guys get nothing," as in no explanation either, right?
Yep.
So yeah, John Cena made his entrance. It wasn't the colorful entrance, so his theme song stayed the same. But you notice his name was all outlined in black and white going up to the ring, with the lights being dimmed to darkness.
Yeah.
Right? And the fans were split, because half the crowd was still cheering him and half the crowd was majorly giving him Dominic Mysterio type heat. Right?
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, was expected. That was probably going to happen even if Cena remained that face good guy anyway. Right? At least the crowd reaction, am I right?
Yep.
And then Cody Rhodes freaking made his entrance. He had a custom entrance with BMX freaking bikers freaking jumping all over the entrance ramp there. And then Cody Rhodes came out with his specialty skull helmet.
It came out like fucking Iron Man.
Basically. So yeah, that sets the tone for this matchup. So, the story of this match as well is Cody Rhodes going to retain the championship against this asshole heel John Cena, or is John Cena gonna win his 17th world title here? Right? This was history in the making either way, right? And this was John Cena's first WrestleMania match as a heel character. Yes, John Cena was a heel in his early in his career in 2003, but he didn't have a WrestleMania 19 match. Thus, technically, this was Cena's first WrestleMania match as a villain. As we know, right? So the match started off with intensity back and forth, including freaking Rhodes performing a tornado Cena performing a tornado DDT on Rhodes for a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
Early on in the going. Then Rhodes then performed a power slam, a disaster kick, and a Cody cutter onto Cena for a 2 count. Right? And here's where the match kind of got interesting at the start, because this match was really back and forth since the go here. Because it just seems like they wanted to get their big moves in before, the main spot near the end, which we'll talk about. Right? Because Cody Rhodes attempted a bionic elbow, a tribute to his late father, Dusty Rhodes, but Cena countered and performed the attitude adjustment onto Rhodes, which I feel at this point, since it is a heel Cena, we should just call it the FU. You agree?
Yeah.
So yeah, Cena performed the FU onto Rhodes, only for Rhodes to kick out at 2. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, then Cena freaking then attempted another FU onto Rhodes, only for Rhodes to counter into a roll-up for a 2 count. Right?
Yep.
And of course, Cena at this point was getting a little bit frustrated. So, what did Cena do? He performed a super FU from the top rope onto Cody Rhodes. A move that put down many opponents before. Did it put down Cody Rhodes here? No, it didn't. Cody kicked out at the count of 2. Once again. Right?
Yep.
And at this point, Cena looked freaking frustrated, and I'm just thinking to myself, yes, come on, Cody's going to freaking beat the hell out of him now. Right?
Yep.
But then Cena then went up to the top rope, but he was going for a flying nothing. That's what I call it, because Rhodes caught him into the powerbomb position for a pinfall. A near fall, I should say, 2 count. Right?
I'll be right back. Someone's knocking on my door. Nope, it was just my dogs barking at my laundry.
But anyway, following that, Rhodes then performed the springboard Cody Cutter on Cena for another 2 count, right? And at this point, it could have gone either way, but yeah, but then Cody Rhodes then went for the crossroads, but Cena reversed into an FU, and then he applied the STFU, which even I believe Michael Cole even said that move was the STFU on commentary, right?
That was it wasn't Michael Cole. That was
Wade Barrett.
God damn it. No, not Wade Barrett.
McAfee.
McAfee.
Yeah. And there was a couple times Cody Rhodes tried to get to the ropes, but Cena would just pull back Cody Rhodes back into the center of the ring, right? But eventually Rhodes freaking kicked Cena off, but Cena ended up taking the referee out by accident when Rhodes reversed another STFU attempt, right?
Yeah.
Of course, with the referee down, Cena removed the top turnbuckle, which is un-Cena-like, honestly. I'm still trying to get used to this heel Cena character. And then
Cena... you forgot the super fucking Cody cutters that he did.
It's like, I know that happened at one point. But then Cena...
It was before the referee got hurt.
Yeah. It's like, and then...
See, that's how referee sells it, unlike you in 2K.
I could say this... You fucking beat me to it, you asshole. And we're on the last match. God damn it, I didn't even think about it. And then Cena then sent Rhodes into the turnbuckle twice, and then performed a 4th FU on the freaking Rhodes for a 2 count, right?
Yep.
And of course, freaking, by this point, both men were down. The referee was still groggy, but he was getting back up, and that's when Travis Scott's music hit.
Yes.
And everyone thought freaking The Rock was going to appear with him, but that did not happen. Right?
Nope.
So Travis Scott just appeared with his freaking Cactus Jack apparel and his custom-made hardcore belt, which I still believe WWE should bring back as a real championship, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
And of course, freaking Cena was all cheering because his friend was coming out to help him. But then freaking Cody Rhodes performed the crossroads on Cena. And right when the referee started counting 1, 2, Travis Scott pulled the referee out of the ring. Here's where things get a little interesting, right?
Nope.
Because Travis Scott actually got into the ring, was confronting Cody Rhodes, and then Travis Scott was about to cheap shot Cody Rhodes, who blocked it, and Rhodes actually nailed a crossroads on the freaking Travis Scott, sending him out of the match. And that one looked devastating. Scott looked like he landed nose first onto the mat.
He landed nose first because fucking Cody did it that way.
Yeah, and apparently Cody Rhodes did that as a little receipt to Travis Scott for what happened at the Chamber when Travis Scott legit freaking nailed Cody in the face.
Yeah, gave him a black eye and a fucking busted up ear.
Yes, so I guess that was the receipts Travis Scott had coming to him from Rhodes in this match. Of course, while all this was going on, freaking Cena went to the outside, took the WWE Championship, and he looked like he was about to nail freaking Cody Rhodes with it, which Cody Rhodes stopped him. And they had a little
John Cena told Cody Rhodes multiple weeks that he had to choose. Was he going to be the good guy, or was he going to be the bad guy?
And yeah, after a little tug of war, freaking goddamn Cody Rhodes had the championship. And that's when, of course, Cena asked him that question in the match. And it looked like Cody Rhodes was conflicted. But it didn't take freaking Cody Rhodes to make up his mind, because John Cena made up his mind for him when he low-blowed him again.
No, Cody Rhodes was thinking because he asked him before the match even started. He's like, "Oh, are you going to be a good guy or are you going to be the bad guy?" And then when Cody he was contemplating either hitting
Cena.
John with it or fucking not. And then he decides to be the good guy. John fucking low blows him and then fucking puts him through the damn turnbuckle, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
And following that, Cena then took the championship, the WWE title, and then smacked Cody Rhodes in the head with it, knocking Rhodes out completely. And then that's when the referee came back in and counted John Cena as the winner of the match.
Yep. Being a 17-time world champion.
Now, this match as a whole, it was all right. I mean, the WrestleMania 40 main event, in my opinion, was a little bit better, but you know that was Bloodline rules, of course. Of course, that was Bloodline rules, of course, and knowing that we had, but here at WrestleMania 41, knowing that we had pretty much heels in the night in the main events on both nights of WrestleMania victorious, with Seth Rollins winning that triple threat, and now Cena winning here. All I gotta say is, Paul Levesque's booking, he has balls booking heels to win the main event of WrestleMania on both nights.
Well, also, Ric Flair said that he was glad that Cena beat his record, that Cena is now the man.
Now this one, I feel a little bit, the ending of the match, though, I feel a little conflicted on. Because one, I was expecting Cody Rhodes to win so the fans could be sent home happy despite the fact that
Cody Rhodes crybaby.
Well, I thought Cody was going to retain this one so the fans would be sent home happy at a WrestleMania, even though half the crowd would hate it. But also,
yeah, me on the other hand, I'm like, oh, John Cena's going to win again. John Cena's going to win again. John Cena's going to win again. John Cena's going to win. And what the fuck happens? He won.
But also at the same time, now I'm kind of intrigued to see what a John Cena heel reign as champion will be, because we never got that before.
Yep.
So yeah, this one's kind of conflicting to me. Oh, and by the way, you're a hypocrite. Because John Cena winning with the freaking goddamn heel tactics with the low blows, the exposed turnbuckle being used, and a blatant belt shot to knock Cody Rhodes out. If Roman Reigns would have done that to Cody Rhodes last year in that Bloodline Rules match and retained the championship that way, you would have been bitching all the way up until this year. Would you not? Would you not, you damn hypocrite? But if Cena does it, it's okay.
Well, I was rooting for Cena to win anyways.
I know, but still, it's just conflicting. And you're a hypocrite for that, for actually supporting that ending when 9 times out of 10, you would hate that ending.
And what did I say at Raw? I fucking called it. And what did I say after the match when we decided to play a few games before doing the review this morning? I called it, you bitch.
Said it to me last night after the show was over, but still, what the fuck? Right? So yeah, now we got to go to our favorite portion of these reviews, and that's our rating system that we always do at the end of each review, right after we review the matches. So Io Sky retaining the Women's World Championship in that triple threat match, defeating Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. I gave that one 4 out of 5.
4.5.
Okay. Makes sense. Drew McIntyre defeating Damian Priest in that Sin City Street fight. I gave that one 4.5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Enjoyed it slightly more than I did, but, you know, it's all good. The Metal Trash Can defeating Finn Balor, Penta, and Braun Breaker to win the Intercontinental Championship. I gave that one 3 3/4 out of 5.
2.5. I still don't understand how an inanimate object became a fucking champion, but okay.
Oh, wait, did I say metal trash can? I meant Dominic Mysterio. Same thing. But I guess I enjoyed it for the action before the ender. I guess more. Randy Orton defeating Joe Henry in that open challenge match. Nothing match. I was being nice because it was history making, but the match itself sucked. And I couldn't rate it any more than 2 out of 5.
I hate to do this. A lot of people would say higher. I give it a 1.5.
It's basically on the same path as me.
Randy Orton should have had a better match at Mania than fucking Joe Hendry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What the fuck did Joe Hendry ever do to get a match against Randy? Nothing.
Oh, well, it was still history making to see the TNA champion appear and wrestle at WrestleMania. That's the only reason why I gave it a 2 out of 5 on my end. And I really, really hate to do this, but Logan Paul defeating AJ Styles in that grudge match, even though Karrion Kross got involved, I had to give this one 2 3/4 out of 5.
3.5.
The only reason I rate it higher than the Orton match is because this one was an actual full-length match.
3.5.
And I bet that...
Because AJ said, I'm going to kill this fucking man.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that pains you to rate a Logan Paul match higher than an Orton match, but still, anything... Stranger things has happened. Right?
Yes.
Lyra...
I rated it that high because of AJ, not Logan.
Yeah. Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch defeating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to win the Women's Tag Team Championships. I gave that one 4 out of 5.
I'd give it a 4.5 just because Becky Lynch came back. Originally, it was going to be about 3 to a 3.5.
And here's where I believe... And we get to the main event one now, and here's where I believe that our opinions will be 100% divided. Ain't even anywhere close. But John Cena defeating Cody Rhodes to win his 17th world title.
10 out of 10.
Okay, you already got your damn opinion out there. I gotta think more realistically because of heel cheap. The match was good, but because of cheap heel tactics back and forth and the way John Cena pretty much blatantly cheated to win.
It wasn't blatant cheating, it was cheating.
Yes.
There was no blatant about it.
Counting that all in, I couldn't rate this any higher than 3 3/4 out of 5. I'm sorry.
10.
Last year's main event was better.
10 out of 10.
Oh, and don't get me wrong. Last year's main event with Rhodes and Roman Reigns, that had a lot of interference, but that was to be expected because it was bloodline rules. This one was a regular match, which is why the points went lower when that started happening.
He didn't even have the interference until fucking midway.
Yeah. The match itself was
Cena
good.
fucking came out with a different kind of entrance. I expect him to come out with the Doctor of Thugonomics, but okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the match itself to me was at least worth maybe 4 out of 5.
He was being methodical about it though, because he was literally beating up Cody Rhodes and making sure everyone could see it.
Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. The match that happened before the Travis Scott interference came out, it was worth, to me, it was in the 4 out of 5 territory, but, you know, that ending hurt it somewhat. That's why I gave it 3 3/4 out of 5.
So I'll give it 10 out of 10. Or a 5 out of 5.
Yep. So my final grade for WrestleMania 41, Night 2, aka 420 WrestleMania, I would have to give it a B.
A.
Of course, you'd give it an A, you John Cena ass kisser. Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, crybaby.
Hypocrite.
Crybaby.
Asshole.
Bitch.
We can do this all day, even though I'd prefer not to.
Because you know you'll lose.
But anyway, that's our thoughts for WrestleMania Night 2 as a whole. And, well, we wrapped it up. This year's WrestleMania, when it comes to the review segment, is done. All wrapped up in a nice bow for both nights. But anyway, we got to talk about the classic pay-per-view we're going to be reviewing this week. And I know at the end of the Night 1 review, I said we're going to be doing the 2000 Survivor Series. However, I'm going to save that for a later time. I still want to friggin' review it, but I'll save that for later on. I changed my mind on this one, and because I've been doing some thinking since I made that announcement, and with Backlash coming up on May the 10th, here in literally 3 weeks' time, literally the day before my 31st or 32nd birthday, for anyone wondering, right?
2 weeks.
Yeah. I kind of want to go and review a classic Backlash event. And then I'm like, there's so many good Backlash events. What the hell am I going to pick for this week? And I decided at one that I thought was pretty good. Others may not think the same way, but you know, we all have different opinions. That's all good and all. So the classic pay-per-view we're going to be reviewing probably by the end of the week is going to be Backlash 2009.
Oh, God.
That had the main event be that last man standing match between Cena and Edge.
It was decent.
And, of course, we had that 6-man tag match for the WWE Championship, which, with the power of hindsight, didn't really make any sense when it was the Legacy against Shane McMahon, Batista, and Triple H. And then, of course, we had that I Quit match between Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. So either way, to me, it was not the best Backlash show, but it was a decent one. How decent will it be? Well, I guess we're just going to have to find out later on this week. So until then, we will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Deuces.